All right, and you see up there in the corner, there was the sparkles. And there it is, Shiny Eevee. Hey everyone, I'm Zach, and this is the PokeRadar RNG video guide from pokemonrng.com. As we've been doing recently, the tool is built into the site itself, so you're able to do the RNG on your phone, on your computer, all of the operating systems. Before we get started, thank you to Wizard for reverse engineering this logic, creating 3DS RNG tool in TinyTimeline. Also thanks to Bambo Rambo for TinyFinder. This tool is based on their work, so thank you so much to them for that. Also, the DexNav guide had some super helpful info for how to do PokeRadar. Vlad and Shiny Sylveon, thank you to you as well for answering all the questions that I had while this tool was being built. So with that, this works on both emulator and consoles. Aside from the site, you're also going to want to have PokeReader installed and lots of repels. PokeReader has a radar screen in it, and if you go in there, it has all of the information you're going to need to type into the site. What is PokeRadar for anyone who's not familiar with it? Once you get far enough into the game, you're going to get a key item called PokeRadar, and this allows you to play a bit of a mini game that increases your odds of getting a shiny. So whenever you actually use PokeRadar, you're going to see that there are ruffles of grass that move around a little bit, and if you go into one of those and encounter a Pokemon, the game is going to keep track of how many times you knock out or catch this same species of Pokemon. This is called the chain. So I have the chain count showing right here in PokeReader, and it knows right now I've only run into one Hawlucha. But if I run into a second one and I catch it or I knock it out, that number is going to increase to 2, and that is the chain. So for example, if I knock out 3 Eevees, I have a chain of 3. If I then find a shiny Eevee and I catch it, I will have a chain of 4 Eevees. There are lots of ways that a chain can be broken. The 3 main ways are you run into a Pokemon of the wrong species. That is going to break your chain. It's going to set it back down to 0. Another one is if you use your roller skates, your chain will instantly break and go back down to 0. Another method is if you run into a decoy grass patch. So sometimes whenever you use PokeRadar, there's going to be a grass patch that ruffles around, but it's not going to actually have a Pokemon in it. So how do we avoid these issues? Well, first, you want to make sure that you've got a bunch of repels that you can use. That way you will not accidentally run into a wild Pokemon that'll break your chain. Next, the RNG tool here is going to tell us exactly which patches of grass have the Pokemon we want that will continue our chain, as well as which patches of grass have Pokemon that are shiny in them. So with that, let's get into the RNG. First, open up PokeReader if you haven't already, and lock it into place by pressing X and Y. That way, as you move around your character, you're not accidentally going to move PokeReader to different screens. Next, we're going to want to start off with a chain of 1, because that is going to lock our Pokemon into place. Now that we're ready to go, we're going to want to apply that repel. That way we don't accidentally run into wild Pokemon. After that, we're going to want to use PokeRadar to start our chain of 1. Once we start that chain of 1, our species is going to be locked into place. So use PokeRadar until you encounter the Pokemon that you want to be shiny. All right, and I want a shiny Eevee. I just ran into one, so now I've got my chain of 1. To keep this up, I need to knock the Eevee out, or catch it, but in this case, I'm going to knock it out. Now I've got my chain of 1. I'm going to open up my bag to stop TinyMT from advancing. Then I'm going to type my TinyMT seed into the RNG tool. ACA247AA 54FC 76B6 D27 69FCE 6B3798FC. My current advances 3670, and my max advances I'm going to go until about 20,000. I only have a Charmeleon in my party, so I'm going to keep that at 1. My chain count is also currently at 1. All right, now I can click Generate. This is going to show all of the results that I can get. If I click in one of these result rows, below the tool, it's going to generate where my character is and where the patches of grass that are going to shake are going to be relative to my character. Now, if I filter for shiny, you'll notice that I've got some results here, but if we go to something higher, like say 20, we now have tons of results. We have multiple pages of results. So the higher the chain that you have, the more of a chance you're going to get a shiny. I'm actually surprised. Normally, you don't have this many shinies on just a single chain. I'm actually pretty shocked about how many I have in a row here. 20,000 advances is kind of far away, though. So I have two options. I can either increase my chain, or I can just wait for TinyMT to advance to that spot. For the purposes of this video, I'm going to use editing magic to make sure that my TinyMT advance gets higher really fast, so that you don't have to wait and sit through it. So let me quickly explain. This is where your character is standing right now in the center. Anytime that you see the sparkles, that's a shiny Pokemon. If you see a green check mark, that is a Pokemon that can keep your chain going. If you see a red cross, that is either an empty patch of grass that if you go into, it will break your chain, or it's a different species of Pokemon that will also break your chain. So the only patches of grass that you want to go to are either the ones with check mark or the sparkles. Before you go for a shiny, make sure that your character can actually reach it, right? So if I go out really fast into the overworld, this shiny patch is way outside the range of where my character can currently walk. My character can go up 1, 2, 3, 4, and over 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, over 1. That shiny spot is outside of the range of where I can be. So there are two things you need to do before you actually do the RNG. First, you need to walk around so that you recharge PokeRadar. Otherwise, you're going to get an error message whenever you use it telling you that it needs to be charged up. So make sure that you walk around a good amount. Next, I want to make sure that I can actually get to that grass spot. So I need to stand in a location where my shiny will be accessible from my character. All right, now I'm in a good location. I'm going to open PokeRadar back up, and I'm going to wait for my advances to get to 20,966, or at least very close to that. A really good way to make it go fast, go to pokemonrng. The advances should go pretty quickly. If it doesn't, you can walk around while pokemonrng is open. Your Pokemon is going to bounce around. That's going to advance TinyMT a little bit faster than whenever you're just standing idle. But if you're lucky, just opening up pokemonrng is going to be enough to get it going pretty quickly. Once you're close to your target, open up your bag so that TinyMT stops advancing. After that, we have a few ways that we can control the TinyMT advances. If you toggle the experience share, it will advance the TinyMT 3 times for every single Pokemon in your party. So I've got a single Pokemon right now. That means that I'm going to advance it 3 times every time that I toggle the experience share on and off. So my advances right now are 20,787. If I toggle it off, it'll be 20,790. If you've got more Pokemon in your party, obviously you're going to move faster, but it's going to be a little less granular. So I'm going to do this until I get pretty close to my target. All right, now here I am. I am 2 away. If I toggle the experience share on one more time, then I'm going to be over my target because I'd be at 20,967 and I'm aiming for 20,966. So in order to increase the TinyMT advances one by one, we can go into the screen where we try to teach our Pokemon a new TM, and we get just before we replace a move, we exit out of it, and that'll increase the advances by 1. So I'm going to teach Charmeleon return, or almost. And once I get to this screen, you'll see that now I've advanced 1 time. And I want to quickly exit it because you saw if you hang onto that screen, it'll advance more than once. So just quickly go into it, quickly go out of it. And after that, give up on learning the move. Don't stay in that screen for too long. Just quickly go in and quickly go out for every time you want to advance a single time. Now that I'm where I want to be, I'm at my target advance, I'm going to refamiliarize myself with the map. I need to go up 4 and over 3 more from there, and I should be good. I should have my shiny. I'm going to actually toggle off PokeRadar so that I can see the shiny patch, and I'm going to use the PokeRadar. All right, and you see up there in the corner, there was the sparkles. And there it is, shiny Eevee. Super straightforward, awesome and fun. And now if I catch this, my chain is going to increase from there. So I can do this more and more and keep getting shiny Eevees. I was not prepared. I do not have a good ball for shiny Eevee. So nest ball it is. Cool. There you have it. PokeRadar RNG. Subscribe and like this video. Follow us on PokemonRng.com. And please join our Discord. We love having our community. I'll see you next time.